When you hit 50, you start hearing the tick of the clock in ways you never did before. It's not loud or ominous at first, just a soft tapping in the background, like a leaky faucet you notice at night. But once you tune into it, you realize time is moving faster than I ever imagined. Asterisk. The days, weeks, and months no longer pass, they accelerate, blurring together in a rush of tasks and obligations. Just yesterday, it seems, I was putting away the Christmas lights, and here I am, suddenly hauling them back out again. I'll look at my reflection in the morning mirror and see a man a little grayer, a little softer around the middle, and I'll swear that the changes happened overnight. This strange acceleration is one of life's most universal illusions. Psychologists tell us it happens because, as we age, each year becomes a smaller fraction of our lived experience. At 10 years old, a single year felt like a lifetime, an eternity of summer breaks and scraped knees. But at 50, a year is just 2% of your existence. No wonder it feels like someone has hit the fast-forward button. But I'll tell you the truth as I've come to understand it. The real issue isn't just that time feels shorter. It's that we waste so much of it pretending we have more. I spent my 20s assuming life would start once I had the right job. I spent my 30s believing real joy would come once I owned a house. I spent my 40s telling myself I'd slow down and savor things once I caught up. And then, surprise, I hit 50 and realized there is no catching up. There's only the life you're living right now, in the middle of all its mess and imperfection. We trade the precious now for the promise of a future that's not guaranteed. It's a common mistake, one I've made countless times, and I see it in the eyes of younger folks who are always looking ahead, always waiting for the real show to begin. One of the most sobering lessons I've learned is this: someday is a dangerous word. Asterisk. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll learn the guitar. Someday I'll take that trip. Someday I'll call that friend. The trouble is, someday is a mirage. It keeps moving further down the road, always waiting for you just past the next obstacle. And if you're not careful, someday will follow you right into your grave. I remember a friend of mine, Michael. He was the kind of guy who worked tirelessly, always the first in, the last out, forever promising himself that once he made it, he'd enjoy life. He had a bucket list, neatly written in a notebook he kept in his desk. The list was a beautiful testament to his dreams. Travel to Italy, learn to paint, take his kids camping in Yellowstone. He told me he'd get to it all once the company was stable. He passed away at 54, just 2 years after I last saw him. The notebook still in his drawer. When his wife showed it to me, the pages were still crisp and clean. Dreams untouched. The painful irony was almost unbearable. I don't think I've ever seen a more heartbreaking reminder that time waits for no one. Since then, I've tried, with varying degrees of success, to live as though time is both precious and limited. I don't always manage it. I still waste afternoons scrolling through nonsense on my phone, or lose weeks obsessing over problems that won't matter 5 years from now. I've come to see that time is the only thing in this life that, once spent, you can never get back. You can rebuild a fortune. You can find a new love. You can even restore your health to a degree. But you can't reclaim a single second. That realization, truly felt and not just intellectualized, changes everything. It forces you to reevaluate your priorities, to look at your calendar not just as a list of tasks, but as a ledger of your life's choices. And let me tell you, learning to use time well doesn't always mean chasing grand adventures. In fact, a lot of the time it means simply noticing what's already there. The way the morning light hits the kitchen counter while you pour your coffee. The laugh lines deepening on the face of someone you love. The ridiculous little dance your dog does when you come home. I used to rush past those things, too busy chasing big goals. Now I see them for what they are, the small, fleeting treasures that make a life. Do you ever just stop and watch the way the sun sets behind the trees? The colors shifting from fiery orange to soft lavender? I spent 40 years of my life with my head down, missing the whole show, only to realize that the show was the point. Those moments are not distractions from life, they are life itself. It's the difference between traveling to a city and seeing all the major landmarks, and actually sitting in a small cafe, watching the people, and feeling the true pulse of the place. Of course, time also has a way of teaching you humility. When you're young, you think you can outsmart it, that you can stay up all night, eat poorly, neglect your health, and still bounce back. You think a sprained ankle will heal in a week, and a restless night won't leave a mark. But time is patient, and it always collects its debt. One morning you wake up and realize your knees sound like a percussion section when you climb the stairs. Or you notice the doctor now spends more time with you than your barber does. Your body, which you took for granted as a tireless machine, starts to send you small, gentle reminders that the clock doesn't stop, no matter how fast you run. I remember in my 40s, I decided to try and play a pickup game of basketball with some younger guys. I had visions of my old self, a little slower maybe, but still with a killer jump shot. What I got was a brutal lesson in physics. My brain wanted to move like I was 20, but my body moved like it was 35. I ended up with a strained hamstring and an ego bruised more than my leg. That was a moment when I truly realized that you don't fight time, you adapt to it. You respect it. But here's the beautiful paradox. The very awareness of time's limits is what makes it valuable. If we lived forever, we'd never feel urgency. We'd never feel gratitude. Scarcity is what makes time precious. It's why a weekend with an old friend feels sacred. It's why a single conversation can stay with you for years. It's why holding your newborn grandchild, yes, I'm finally old enough for that, can move you to tears. Not just because of what you see in their tiny face, but because you know your time and theirs are intertwined in a fragile, finite dance. It's why an old photograph, faded at the edges, can transport you to a moment you thought you'd forgotten. It's the knowledge that these moments are unique and irreplaceable that gives them their weight and their warmth. So let me ask you, what do you truly value? The things that are mass-produced and endlessly available, or the things that are rare and finite? Your time is the rarest and most finite resource of all. So what have I learned about time? That it's not about managing it like a spreadsheet. It's about honoring it, spending it on what matters most, and refusing to trade it away for things that don't. I still keep a to-do list, because a man's gotta get his chores done. But these days, I also keep a to-be list. On it are reminders like, be present, be kind, be curious, be grateful, be forgiving, be brave. Some days I fail at every one of those, but the list keeps me grounded. It reminds me that the point of life isn't just to squeeze more tasks into fewer hours. It's to become someone worth remembering when those hours run out. It's the difference between doing and being. The to-do list is about action. The to-be list is about character. And when it's all said and done, you won't be remembered for the tasks you completed, but for the person you were. And if you're listening to this thinking, well, I've wasted too much time already, let me stop you right there. Time isn't a bank account that penalizes you for past withdrawals. It's a gift that renews every morning. Each day you wake up is another chance to start fresh, to spend your hours differently, to make a small deposit into the life you want to live. Don't let the weight of yesterday's waste stop you from making a better choice today. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. When I was younger, I used to dream about the future as if it were a destination I'd someday arrive at, a place where everything made sense and the clock finally slowed down. But now, in the thick of middle age, I see the truth more clearly. The future isn't a place you arrive at, it's the collection of todays you choose to live. And the clock never slows. It only asks, what will you do with me now? So here's my advice, from one aging traveler to another. Don't wait. Don't wait to take that trip, to write that letter, to mend that relationship, to laugh until your stomach hurts. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it doesn't exist. The only perfect time you'll ever have is this one. I'll leave you with a simple image. Life is like a candle. Some of us burn quickly and brightly, others more slowly, but all candles eventually fade. You don't get to control how long the wax lasts. You only get to choose how brightly you shine while it does. And if you're anything like me, you'll discover that the real gift of time isn't in how long it lasts, but in how fully you live it. So fall forward, because the ground is not your enemy, it's your teacher.